The human fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the Validros system. 400 warships spread out in attack formation, their weapons charged and ready. Commander Park Ji-won stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and stared at the blue-green world hanging in space before them. "Scan for defenses," he ordered. Captain Lee Hyun-woo studied the tactical display. "I'm reading orbital platforms, defensive satellites, and a fleet of about 100 ships. But they're not moving to engage. They're just sitting there." "Could be a trap," Lieutenant Baysora suggested. She had been promoted to wing commander after her actions at Apex Prime. "Maybe," Ji-won agreed. "Or maybe they're smart enough to know they've lost." A communication request came through. The council was calling. "Put it on screen," Ji-won said. High Arbiter Velthos appeared in the holographic display. Its crystalline body was barely holding together, cracks covering its entire form. It looked like something that should have shattered long ago, but was held together by sheer will. "Commander Park Ji-won," Velthos said, "we wish to negotiate terms of surrender." Ji-won raised an eyebrow. 6 months ago, the council had been dictating terms. Now they were asking for mercy. "Surrender?" Ji-won said. "That's an interesting change from your previous position. We were wrong. We admit this. Humanity has proven stronger than we anticipated. Stronger than you anticipated. You threatened to enslave or destroy us. We simply chose to fight back. And you have won. The council acknowledges this. Please let us discuss peace." Ji-won looked at his tactical officers. Then he made a decision. "Very well. I'll send Ambassador Kang to negotiate. But understand this, High Arbiter. We're not here to accept your terms anymore. You're here to accept ours." Ambassador Kang Minji prepared for her third and final meeting with the Galactic Council. This time, she traveled to Validros aboard the Indomitable, surrounded by 400 warships. The symbolism was not subtle. President Yoon Dae called from Earth. "Ambassador Kang, the terms are clear. Full recognition of human sovereignty. Reparations for the costs of this war. Council military forces banned from human space without explicit permission. And most importantly, the Council's monopoly on galactic power ends today." "Understood, Madame President. What about the Council itself?" "That's up to them. We're not here to destroy them. We're here to make sure they never threaten anyone again." The negotiations took place aboard a neutral station in orbit around Validros. The Council members arrived looking defeated. High Arbiter Velthos could barely move, its crystalline structure held together by a support frame. Minji laid out humanity's terms. The council members listened in silence. When she finished, Councillor Threck spoke first. "These terms are harsh," he said quietly. "Less harsh than the terms you offered us," Minji replied. "We could have demanded you disband completely. We could have occupied your worlds. We could have done to you exactly what you planned to do to us. Why didn't you?" Minji considered her answer carefully. "Because we're not you. We didn't start this war seeking conquest. We just wanted to be left alone. Now we want to make sure this never happens again." The council signed the treaty. Every member species, every representative, every official. They had no choice. Human warships hung above their capital, a constant reminder of what would happen if they refused. The treaty was comprehensive. The Galactic Council officially recognized human sovereignty over all human-controlled space. They would pay reparations over the next 50 years. Council military forces were restricted to defensive operations only. And most significantly, the Council's authority over emerging species was permanently revoked. Never again could they demand submission from a newly spacefaring race. But one Council member refused to accept defeat. War Chief Rakthos had been killed at Apex Prime. But his second-in-command, a warrior named Drexos, had survived. He gathered loyalist forces and launched a final attack, determined to die fighting rather than surrender. Commander Park Ji-won received the warning too late. They're attacking New Busan again. Drexos has 40 ships, suicide attack. How long until we can get there? 6 hours. They'll arrive in 3. Ji-won cursed. But then Captain Lee Hyun-woo spoke up. "Sir, we have ships in that sector. Commander Oh's fleet is still on patrol there. Can they hold? She held New Busan once before. She can do it again." Commander Oh Ji-young watched Drexos's attack fleet approach. 40 ships, all damaged from previous battles, all running on skeleton crews. This wasn't a military operation. This was revenge. "They're going to try to crash into the colony," her tactical officer said. "Suicide runs." Then we stop them before they get that close. O opened fleet communications. All ships, this is O. We've fought these bastards for 6 months. We've won every battle. This is the last one. Make it count. Her 12 ships moved to intercept. The orbital platforms activated again, adding their firepower. The battle was brutally simple. The Council ships charged forward, ignoring damage, ignoring casualties. The human defenders cut them down systematically. Drexos's flagship broke through the first line of defense. It accelerated toward New Busan, its engines pushed beyond safety limits. Commander O's ship, the Defiant, moved to intercept. We can't let that ship reach the colony, O said calmly. Helm, put us between them and the planet. Weapons, load antimatter torpedoes. Ma'am, at this range, I know. Fire when ready. The torpedoes launched at point-blank range. They hit Drexos's flagship and detonated. The explosion engulfed both ships. The Defiant survived barely. Its hull scorched and breached in a dozen places. Drexos's flagship disintegrated completely. The rest of the Loyalist fleet broke apart under sustained fire from the orbital platforms. Within 20 minutes, it was over. Every Council ship was destroyed. Commander O's fleet had suffered heavy damage, but New Busan was safe. When Jiwon's relief fleet arrived 6 hours later, they found O directing repair operations from the bridge of her crippled ship. She looked exhausted but satisfied. Final battle of the war, she reported. Enemy casualties 100%. Our casualties heavy but acceptable. New Busan is secure, Jiwon smiled. Well done, Commander. The war is over. President Yoon Dae addressed humanity one last time. Her speech was broadcast to every human world, every ship, every station. 6 months ago, the Galactic Council threatened us with slavery or death. They believed we would surrender. They were wrong. Today, I can announce that the war is over. We have won. But this victory came at a terrible cost. Millions of our people died defending our freedom. Entire fleets were destroyed. Colonies were scarred by battle. We will never forget what we lost, and we will never forget why we fought. The Galactic Council has surrendered. They have recognized our sovereignty and agreed to our terms. Never again will they threaten an emerging species with conquest. The age of their dominance is over. Humanity stands now as a major power in the galaxy, but we must remember that power without wisdom leads to tyranny. The Council ruled through fear. We must be better. We must lead by example if we lead at all. We came to the stars seeking our place in the cosmos. We found it with fire and steel through sacrifice and courage. Now we must prove we deserve it. We must build something better than what came before. To our enemies, we showed what happens when you threaten free people. To our friends, we showed what humanity values most: freedom, dignity, and the right to chart our own course. To ourselves, we proved that we can survive anything, overcome anything, defeat anything that tries to cage us. The war is over. The future begins now. High Arbiter Vel'Thos met with Ambassador Kang Minji one final time. They stood in a garden on Validros under an alien sky, surrounded by plants that had no names in human languages. I must ask, Vel'Thos said, its voice weak. How did you do it? How did a species barely a century into space travel defeat the Council? Minji thought about her answer. Because you forgot what it means to fight for something that matters. You ruled through intimidation for so long that you forgot how to actually fight. We never had that luxury. Humans have been fighting for freedom since we climbed down from the trees. Will you destroy us? No, we'll leave that choice to you. The Council can continue to exist if you want it to, but it can never be what it was. The galaxy doesn't need masters, it needs partners. Vel'Thos nodded slowly. Its crystalline form caught the sunlight, creating rainbow patterns on the ground. Perhaps we needed this lesson. Perhaps we needed someone to teach us humility. Perhaps you did, Minji agreed. The question is, will you learn from it? She left the High Arbiter standing in the garden and returned to her ship. The human fleet was already preparing to leave. There was no occupation, no permanent garrison. Humanity had made its point. Now it was time to go home. Commander Park Ji-won stood on the bridge of the Indomitable and watched Validros recede in the view screen. Set course for Earth, let's go home. The fleet entered hyperspace. Behind them, the Galactic Council began the long process of rebuilding. But they would rebuild differently now. The age of the Council's absolute power was over. A new age had begun, an age where force was not the final arbiter, where emerging species were not automatically prey. Humanity had changed the galaxy forever, not through conquest, not through domination. The cargo ship moved through the darkness of space like a metal giant. Its name was painted on the side in fading letters, Horizon's Edge. Inside the bridge, Captain Day-Wan sat in his chair and watched the stars drift past the windows. He had made this run 100 times before. Earth to the trading stations near the border. Simple work. Boring work. Safe work. "Captain, we have a signal coming in," his communications officer said. The young woman looked tired. They all did. 3 weeks in space did that to people. Day-Wan pressed a button on his armrest. "This is the Horizon's Edge. Go ahead." The voice that came back was not human. It clicked and hissed in ways that human mouths could not make. The translation software turned it into words. "Human vessel, this is Galactic Council Inspector Velthar. You are ordered to stop for routine inspection. Do not attempt to flee or we will use force." Day-Wan sighed. He hated inspections. They took hours, and the aliens always acted like humans were trying to hide something. "Acknowledged, Inspector. We are stopping now. We have nothing illegal on board." His engineer Jiwoo appeared on the communication screen from the engine room below. She had grease on her face and looked annoyed. "Another inspection? We just had one last month." "I know," Day-One said. "Just make sure everything is labeled properly. You know how they get about our power systems." Jiwoo rolled her eyes. "Our power systems are fine." "Better than fine. These aliens just don't understand good engineering." The Horizon's Edge came to a stop. Outside, 3 alien ships approached. They were smaller than the human cargo vessel, but they had weapons. Lots of weapons. The ships looked sleek and dangerous. They surrounded the human ship like sharks circling prey. Day-Wan watched them on his screens. He did not feel worried. The Galactic Council ships always looked threatening, but they had never actually fired on anyone. They were like dogs that barked a lot but never bit. A docking tube extended from one of the alien ships and attached to the Horizon's Edge with a heavy clang. Day-Wan stood up and smoothed his uniform. "Let them in, be polite. The sooner they finish, the sooner we can leave." The airlock opened and the aliens walked in. Velthar was tall and covered in green scales. His eyes were yellow and they moved independently like a lizard. Behind him came 2 security officers. They carried weapons that hummed with energy. They wore armor that looked too heavy for their thin bodies. "Captain Day-Wan," Velthar said through his translator device, "thank you for cooperating. This will not take long if you follow all instructions." "Of course," Day-Wan said with a smile that showed teeth. He had learned that showing teeth made some aliens nervous, but he did not care. "My ship is open to you. We are carrying machine parts and farming equipment." "Nothing exciting." Velthar pulled out a scanner. It was a small device that fit in his clawed hand. He pointed it at the walls and watched the readings. His eyes narrowed. "Your hull plating? What material is this?" Day-Wan shrugged. "Standard stuff. Steel alloy with carbon fiber reinforcement. Same as all our ships. Why?" "This density should not be possible with these materials," Velthar said slowly. "Are you carrying additional armor plating?" "No," Day-Wan said. He was confused now. "That is just the hull. We build them thick because space is dangerous. Micrometeorites, radiation, all that stuff. You need good protection." Velthar made a note on his device. He did not look happy. The security officers moved through the ship, scanning everything. One of them called out in their clicking language. Velthar hurried over to the engine room entrance. "I must see your power core," Velthar said. Day-One led him down to the engine room. Jiwoo was there, working on one of the coolant systems. She looked up when they entered and wiped her hands on a rag. "This is my engineer, Jiwoo," Day-Wan said. "Jiwoo, the inspector wants to see the reactor." Jiwoo pointed to the large cylindrical structure in the center of the room. "There it is. Fusion reactor. Nothing special. Runs clean, efficient, and it has never given us problems." Velthar approached the reactor like it might explode. He held up his scanner and the device made a strange beeping sound. Then it made a different sound. A bad sound. Velthar looked at the scanner, then at the reactor, then back at the scanner. His scales changed color slightly, becoming darker. "This cannot be correct," he said quietly. "What is the output of this reactor?" Jiwoo checked a screen on the wall. "Right now? About 40%. We are just cruising, so we do not need full power." 40% of what maximum?" Velthar asked. His voice was shaking slightly. "Well, the reactor can run at 100% normally," Jiwoo explained. But in an emergency, we can push it to 300% for short periods. That is what the overflow systems are for. Velthar stared at her. 300%. Sure, Jiwoo said. She seemed proud. Human engineering. We build things tough. My grandfather helped design these reactors. He always said that if something cannot run at triple capacity when you need it, then it is not worth building. Velthar turned to his security officers and spoke rapidly in his own language. They responded and he spoke again, more urgently this time. He turned back to Daewon. Captain, I must ask you to remain here while I contact my superiors. Do not move your ship. Do not activate any systems. Do not do anything until I return. What is wrong? Daewon asked. Is there a problem with our paperwork? Your paperwork is fine, Velthar said. He was backing toward the exit now. Your ship is the problem. Or perhaps not a problem. I do not know yet. Just stay here. The aliens left quickly. They almost ran back to their ship. The docking tube disconnected and the 3 alien vessels moved away to a safe distance. Daewon looked at Jiwoo. What was that about? Jiwoo shrugged. No idea. Maybe they have never seen a decent reactor before. Alien technology is so fragile. I heard their ships break down all the time. On his alien ship, Velthar sat in his command chair and typed an encrypted message. His claws were shaking. The message was marked urgent. It was marked priority level 1. It was marked as a potential threat to galactic security. The message read, "Have encountered human cargo vessel. Initial scans indicate power systems exceeding military specifications by factor of 12. Hull density suggests battleship-grade armor on civilian craft. Recommend immediate threat assessment of all human vessels. Possible treaty violation. Possible existential threat. Request instructions." He sent the message and waited. He looked at his scanner again. The numbers had not changed. A human cargo ship, designed to carry farming equipment, had more power than his own military patrol vessel. The hull could probably survive weapons fire that would destroy his ship. What were the humans building? And more importantly, why did they act like this was normal? Velthar looked at the horizon's edge floating in space. It looked peaceful. It looked harmless. But his scanner told a different story. His scanner told him that he was looking at a weapon that the humans did not even realize they had built. He waited for orders and hoped that someone at headquarters would know what to do. Because he certainly did not. The emergency meeting room on Zentara Prime Station was filled with representatives from every major species in the Galactic Council. Director Thal stood at the front, his forearms clasped behind his back. He was old even by his species' standards. He had seen wars, peace treaties, and first contacts with dozens of new civilizations. But he had never seen anything quite like this. "We have a situation," Thal said. His voice carried easily through the chamber. "Inspector Velthar has submitted a threat assessment report concerning humanity. I will let him present his findings." Velthar stepped forward. He still looked shaken from his encounter with the human ship. His scales had not returned to their normal color. He activated a holographic display and the image of the horizon's edge appeared in the center of the room. "This is a human cargo vessel," Velthar began. "Standard civilian craft. Used for transporting goods between human colonies and trade stations. It is registered as unarmed and non-military. But when I scanned it, I found something disturbing. The hologram changed to show technical readouts. Numbers and graphs filled the air. Many of the council members leaned forward to see better. The power output of this ship's reactor exceeds anything we have in our own military fleet." Velthar continued. "The hull plating is denser than our battleship armor. The structural integrity could withstand impacts that would destroy most of our vessels. And this is just a cargo ship. A civilian cargo ship." Murmurs spread through the chamber. Some council members looked skeptical. Others looked worried. "Perhaps your scanner malfunctioned," suggested Councillor Vesh. She was a peaceful species, always looking for simple explanations. "Human technology is new to us. Maybe we are reading it wrong." "That was my first thought," Velthar admitted. "So I ordered full scans of 17 other human vessels across 3 different sectors. The results were the same. Every human ship, regardless of purpose, shows these same characteristics. Excessive power systems. Excessive structural strength. Excessive everything." Thal raised one of his hands. "Have we contacted the humans about this?" "Ambassador Hana is waiting outside," Velthar said. "She requested to address the council." "Bring her in," Thal ordered. The doors opened and Ambassador Hana walked in. She was a small woman by human standards, but she walked with confidence. Behind her came another human, a woman with intelligent eyes who carried a data pad. Director Thal, honored council members, Hana said with a slight bow. I understand there are concerns about our ships. This is Bora, one of our leading physicists. She can explain our technology. Thal gestured to the hologram. Ambassador, we need to understand why your civilian vessels appear to be built to military specifications. Are you hiding weapons? Are you preparing for war? Hana looked genuinely surprised. War? No, we just build our ships to survive. Bora, can you explain? Bora stepped forward and activated her data pad. New images appeared in the hologram. Our ships are built the way they are because of where we come from. Let me show you Earth's solar system. The hologram changed to show a yellow star with planets orbiting it. Bora pointed to a large gas giant. This is Jupiter. It produces radiation that would kill most species. Our ships travel through this radiation regularly. They need heavy shielding. She pointed to a belt of rocks between planets. This is the asteroid belt. Millions of rocks moving at high speeds. Our ships need to be tough enough to survive impacts. Small impacts happen all the time. The hologram zoomed in on a blue planet. Earth. Our home world has extreme weather. Hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. We learned to build everything strong because nature is violent. We applied those same principles to our spacecraft. But your power systems, Velthar interrupted. Why do they need to be so powerful? Bora smiled. Because space is big. Really big. If something goes wrong, help might be weeks or months away. Our ships need enough power to handle any emergency. We build in redundancy. Triple redundancy, actually. If one system fails, 2 backups activate. If those fail, we can still limp home on emergency power. That is not redundancy, Velthar said quietly. That is paranoia. We call it preparedness, Bora replied. Humans have a saying. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Our ships reflect that philosophy. Counselor Vesh spoke up. But surely your military vessels are different from civilian ones. More powerful? Hana and Bora exchanged glances. Hana cleared her throat. Yes, our military ships are more advanced. Better weapons, better shields, better sensors. But the basic construction is similar. All human ships are built to last. How much more advanced? Thal asked. The room had gone very quiet. Bora hesitated. I am not authorized to discuss military specifications, but I can say that our military takes the same approach as our civilian sector. Build it strong. Build it reliable. Build it to survive. Thal stood up, all 4 of his arms spreading wide. This council will investigate further. Ambassador Hana, we mean no disrespect to humanity, but you must understand our concern. You have entered galactic society with technology that surpasses most military powers. Whether you intend it or not, you are a threat. Hana's face hardened. We are not a threat. We are traders, explorers, and colonists. We want peaceful relations with all species. Your intentions may be peaceful, Thal said, but your capabilities are not. We will be sending inspection teams to multiple human facilities, shipyards, factories, research stations. We need to understand what you have built. That is acceptable, Hana said carefully. We have nothing to hide. But I ask that you approach this with open minds. We are not your enemy. The meeting ended and the humans left. The council members remained, talking in small groups. Fear and curiosity mixed in equal measure. Over the next weeks, teams visited human facilities across known space. They watched ships being built in orbital factories. They interviewed engineers and designers. They scanned everything. The reports that came back were all the same. Humans built everything like it might need to survive the end of the world. Their civilian transports had emergency systems that could keep life support running for months. Their mining ships could move asteroids that would take alien fleets to budge. Their research vessels had shields that could withstand solar flares. At a shipyard near Earth, a team watched as human workers assembled a new colony ship. The alien observers were stunned by what they saw. Why are you installing point defense systems? One inspector asked the human supervisor. The supervisor, a man named Tae Sung, looked confused by the question. For micrometeorites, space is full of little rocks moving really fast. The point defense shoots them down before they can damage the hull. Those systems could shoot down missiles, the inspector said. Tae Sung shrugged. I guess so. Never thought about it. We just use them for space debris. Works pretty well, though. Has saved our ships many times. The inspector made notes. Everything humans said made sense from their perspective, but from a galactic perspective it was terrifying. Back at Zentara Prime, Director Thal reviewed all the reports. He sat alone in his office reading page after page of technical data. His conclusion was unavoidable. Humans had not set out to build weapons. They had simply tried to survive in a hostile universe, but the result was the same. Every human ship was a potential war machine. He drafted a report for the full council. It contained a recommendation that made him uncomfortable. Humanity should be classified as a Category 5 threat, not because they were aggressive, but because they were accidentally too powerful. The galaxy had never encountered a species quite like humans. They came from a world that tried to kill them every day. They built their civilization to withstand disaster, and now they were in space, surrounded by species who had never needed to be that tough. Thal sent his report and waited. The council would meet again soon. They would have to decide what to do about humanity. Quarantine them, limit their expansion, form an alliance. Whatever they decided, one thing was clear. The galaxy had changed the moment humans entered it, and there was no going back. The distress signal came through at 400 ship time. Captain Daewon was asleep in his quarters when the alarm woke him. He rolled out of bed and grabbed his uniform, pulling it on as he ran to the bridge. "Report," he said as he dropped into his captain's chair. His communications officer, a young woman named Su-Jin, looked pale. "Distress call from trading station Kelbera 7. They are under attack. Raiders. The message says 6 hostile vessels. They are requesting immediate assistance from any ships in range." Daewon checked the navigation display. They were the closest ship, 4 hours away at normal cruise speed. He looked at the tactical display. 6 raiders. His ship was a cargo hauler with farming equipment in the hold. Not exactly a warship. "Is there any military presence in the area?" he asked. "Negative," Su-Jin replied. "Nearest Galactic Council patrol is 18 hours out. We are it." Daewon thought for exactly 3 seconds. Then he made his decision. "Plot a course for Kelbera 7 full speed. Get Jiwoo up here. We are going to need the engines pushed hard." Su-Jin's fingers flew over her controls. "Course plotted. At 2 hours at full speed. Captain, are you sure about this? We are not equipped for combat." "We have the standard package," Daewon said. "We will figure something out. Send a response to Kelbera 7. Tell them help is coming." Jiwoo arrived on the bridge, rubbing sleep from her eyes. She still had grease on her hands from yesterday's maintenance work. "You want full speed?" "We just finished the coolant system repairs. I have not tested them yet." "Test them now," Daewon said. "We have people who need help." "How fast can we go?" Jiwoo sat at the engineering station and pulled up system displays. "Safe maximum is about 80% reactor output. That gives us cruise speed plus 20%. We can maintain that for hours." "I need more," Daewon said. Jiwoo looked at him. She understood what he was asking. "I can give you 100% for sustained running. That is against regulations, but the ship can handle it. Gets us there in 2 hours like you want." "But Captain, if we need combat power, we will be running hot already." "Do it," Daewon ordered. "And prep all systems. Point defense, shields, everything. I want to be ready the moment we arrive." The horizon's edge surged forward. The reactor hummed with power as Jiwoo brought it up to full output. The ship was not designed for high-speed combat approaches, but it was designed to handle emergencies, and this qualified on Zentara Prime. Director Thal was monitoring the situation. Long-range sensors had picked up the distress call. They had also tracked the human ship's response. He watched in real time as the cargo vessel accelerated far beyond what its listed specifications said it should be capable of. "Get me a direct feed," Thal ordered. "I want to see what happens." His staff set up multiple sensor feeds. They would be able to watch the encounter from a safe distance. Thal did not know what to expect. Would the humans fight? Flee? Try diplomacy? This would reveal much about their true nature. The horizon's edge dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Kelbera 7 system. Daewon immediately assessed the situation. 6 raider ships surrounded the trading station. They were firing on the station's shields. The shields were failing. Maybe 10 minutes before they collapsed completely, the raiders were Margath, a known pirate faction that operated in this region. They used converted military frigates, fast, well-armed, and aggressive. The Galactic Council had been trying to stop them for years with limited success. "Open a channel to the raiders," Daewon ordered. Su-Jin worked her controls. Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Day Wan of the cargo vessel Horizon's Edge. You are attacking a civilian station. Stand down immediately and withdraw from this system. This is your only warning. The response came quickly. The voice was rough and full of contempt. A cargo ship? You think to threaten us? Return to wherever you came from, human, or we will add your wreckage to our collection. Day Wan sighed. He had tried. Sujin, take us in. Jiwoo, give me everything we have. Divert all non-essential power to shields and engines. What is the plan, Captain? Sujin asked. Her hands were steady on the controls, but her voice betrayed her nervousness. We are going to get between them and the station, Day Wan said. Draw their fire. Give the station time to evacuate. The Horizon's Edge accelerated toward the battle. The 6 raider ships noticed, and 3 of them turned to engage the human vessel. They formed a standard attack formation and opened fire. Missiles streaked toward the Horizon's Edge. Sujin watched them come, and her training took over. She had practiced evasive maneuvers 1,000 times. Every human pilot did. You never knew when you might hit unexpected debris at high speed. The cargo ship twisted and dove. Its maneuvering thrusters fired in sequence. The missiles passed through empty space where the ship had been. 2 of them collided with each other and exploded. The rest flew past. On Zentara Prime, Thal leaned forward in his seat. A cargo ship should not move like that. It was too large, too heavy. But the human vessel danced through space like a fighter craft. Impossible, breathed Velthar, who stood beside Thal. That ship is carrying thousands of tons of cargo. How can it maneuver so precisely? The raiders fired again. Energy beams and more missiles. This time they anticipated the human ship's movements. Several shots connected. The Horizon's Edge shuddered as impact slammed into its shields. Shields at 92%, Jiwoo reported calmly. Forward plating absorbed most of it. We are fine, Day Wan frowned. The raiders were using military-grade weapons. Those shots should have done more damage. He suddenly realized that his ship, his simple cargo hauler, was tougher than he had ever really appreciated. Return fire, he ordered. Point defense, target their missiles. Let us see if we can even the odds. The point defense system activated. Small turrets along the Horizon's Edge tracked incoming missiles with computer precision. Rapid-fire kinetic rounds streaked out. Every missile in flight exploded before reaching the ship. The raiders tried again. Same result. The human point defense was too fast, too accurate. Missiles were useless. The raider leader's voice came over the communication channel. He sounded angry. What kind of cargo ship has military-grade defense systems? You lied to us, human. Day Wan activated his microphone. We did not lie. This is a standard cargo hauler. You are just not very good at this. The 3 raider ships changed tactics. They spread out and fired energy weapons from multiple angles. Coordinated fire. It was actually a smart move. The beams converged on the Horizon's Edge from 3 directions. The shields flared bright blue. The ship rocked slightly. Alarms beeped, but nothing critical. Shields at 87%, Jiwoo said. They are trying, but it is not enough. Our shields can take this all day. Day One made a decision. They could sit here and absorb fire. But that would not stop the raiders. The station was still in danger. He needed to end this quickly. Sujin, plot a ramming course for the nearest raider. Sujin turned to look at him. Sir, you heard me? Jiwoo, I need forward thrusters at maximum. We are going to use standard asteroid braking procedure. Understanding dawned on Jiwoo's face. When human ships needed to move or break apart asteroids, they used their heavily reinforced hulls to simply push or ram them. The ships were built for it. Strong enough to survive the impact. Forward thrusters at maximum, Jiwoo confirmed. All power to forward shields. This is going to be rough. The Horizon's Edge turned and accelerated directly at the nearest raider ship. The raider saw them coming and tried to evade, too slow. The human cargo ship was faster and more maneuverable than it had any right to be. The 2 ships collided. The Horizon's Edge hit the raider like a hammer striking glass. The raider's shields collapsed. Its hull crumpled. The ship broke in half and exploded. The Horizon's Edge emerged on the other side of the explosion. Its forward shields flickered but held. The hull had a few new dents, but nothing serious. On Zentara Prime, the entire observation room was silent. They had just watched a cargo ship destroy a military vessel through ramming. It was the most brutal and effective combat maneuver they had ever seen. Get me a damage report on that human ship, Thal said quietly. Numbers appeared on his screen. Minimal damage. Shields recharging. All systems operational. The cargo ship was fine. At Kelbera 7, the 5 remaining raiders looked at the wreckage of their companion. Then they looked at the human ship which was turning back toward them. The message was clear. The humans were willing to ram them all if necessary. The raider leader's voice came through one more time. Withdraw. All ships withdraw. The humans are insane. The 5 raider ships fled the system at maximum speed. They scattered in different directions, not even staying together. They just wanted to get away from the crazy humans and their indestructible cargo ship. Daewon watched them go. He felt tired suddenly. Check the station. See if they need help with repairs or evacuations. Captain, Sujin said slowly. We just scared off 6 military ships while carrying farming equipment. I know, Daewon replied. Weird, right? Jiwoo, how are the engines? Running a bit hot but fine, Jiwoo reported. We can maintain operations. Though we should probably avoid ramming anything else today. Agreed, Daewon said with a slight smile. Send a report to the Galactic Council. Let them know the situation is resolved. The council chamber was full. Every seat was occupied. Every species had sent their representatives. The gallery was packed with observers. Word had spread throughout the station that today's session would determine humanity's place in the galaxy. Everyone wanted to witness it. Director Thal called the session to order. His forearms gestured for silence and the chamber quieted immediately. He looked tired. The past weeks had aged him. We are here to decide the status of humanity within the Galactic Council, Thal began. His voice carried to every corner of the chamber. We have investigated their technology. We have studied their history. We have witnessed their actions. Now we must decide what to do with this information. He activated the central hologram. Images of human ships appeared. Cargo haulers, colony vessels, mining craft, research ships, all of them showing the same characteristics. Heavy construction, powerful systems, built to survive. The facts are clear, Thal continued. Every human vessel, regardless of its stated purpose, possesses capabilities that exceed our military standards. Their cargo ships can ram through our warships. Their civilian reactors output more power than our battleship cores. Their standard hull plating is tougher than our best armor. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Fear and uncertainty mixed in the air. Some have suggested quarantine, Thal said. Lock humanity in their solar system. Prevent their expansion. Treat them as a Category 5 threat. He paused. I must admit I considered recommending this myself. In the human section, Ambassador Hana sat with Bora, Daewon, and Jiwoo. They had been asked to attend, to represent their species, to defend their existence. Hana's face remained calm, but her hands gripped the armrests tightly. Belthar stood to speak. The inspector's scales had returned to their normal color, but his eyes still showed concern. I was the first to discover the truth about human ships. I reported them as a threat, but I have spent weeks now studying humanity. I have watched them work. I have spoken with their engineers and captains, and I have reached a conclusion. He turned to face the humans. They do not understand why we are afraid. To them, their ships are barely adequate. They consider our vessels dangerously fragile. They look at our military craft and wonder how we survive in space at all. Some council members nodded. Others looked skeptical. The humans come from a death world, Velthar continued. A planet that tried to kill them every day. They evolved to be stubborn, to over-prepare, to survive against impossible odds. Their ships reflect this. They are not weapons. They are survival tools. The fact that they can be used as weapons is almost accidental. Counselor Vesh stood. Her species was known for wisdom and careful thought. I must ask the humans directly. Captain Daewon, you rammed a raider ship with your cargo vessel. You destroyed it. Do you deny this was an act of aggression? Daewon stood slowly. He looked uncomfortable being the focus of so much attention. I do not deny it happened. But it was not aggression. It was defense. Those raiders were attacking a civilian station. People were going to die. I did what I had to do to stop them. But you used your ship as a weapon, Vesh pressed. You intentionally rammed them. Yes, Daewon admitted. Because it worked. My ship is built tough. It can survive impacts. I use that capability to save lives. If that makes me aggressive, then I am aggressive. But I would do it again. Jiwoo stood up beside him. I am just an engineer. I fix things. But I want to say something. We did not ask to be scary. We did not try to build weapons. We just tried to build ships that would keep people alive. If you think that is wrong, then I do not know what else we could have done. Should we have built weaker ships? Ships that break down? Ships that fail when people need them most? What would you have us do? The chamber went silent. The question hung in the air. What should humanity have done? Built worse ships? Accepted more deaths? Stayed on Earth forever? Ambassador Hana rose. When she spoke, her voice was strong and clear. We understand your fear, we do. You look at our ships and see weapons. You look at our capabilities and see threats. But we look at our ships and see the difference between life and death, between making it home or dying in the void. She walked to the center of the chamber, standing in the holographic display. Ships rotated around her. Earth taught us hard lessons, Hana continued. Build things right or watch people die. There is no middle ground. No second chances. Space is not forgiving. It does not care about our feelings or our intentions. It will kill us if we are not prepared. So we prepare. We build strong. We survive. She turned slowly, meeting the eyes of representatives from a dozen species. You say we are a threat? Maybe we are. But we are not your threat. We do not want your worlds. We do not want your resources. We just want to exist, to grow, to explore. If our ships intimidate you, that is not our intention. It is just how we build things. Bora stood and added her voice. We can help you. Our engineering principles, our safety standards, our survival techniques, we can share all of it. Make your ships stronger. Make your people safer. That is what we want to do. Help, not harm. Thal listened to all of this. He had made his decision already, but he wanted to hear the debate. Wanted to give everyone a voice. Now he spoke. I have reviewed all evidence. I have considered all arguments. And I have reached a conclusion. He paused, letting the tension build. Humanity will not be quarantined. They will not be restricted. Instead, I recommend full integration into the Galactic Defense Coalition. Shocked murmurs erupted. Thal raised his hands for silence. Think about what we have witnessed, Thal said. Human ships scared off raiders that we have been fighting for years. A single cargo vessel did what our patrols could not. Why? Because human ships are better, tougher, more capable. We should not fear this. We should embrace it. Velthar stood again. I support this recommendation, but with conditions. Humans must register all vessels with the Coalition. They must coordinate with our forces. They must follow proper protocols. We cannot have them ramming enemy ships without warning. Dewan raised his hand. That seems reasonable. We can work with that. Counselor Vesh looked thoughtful. And in exchange, what does humanity gain from this arrangement? Full council membership, Thal said. Access to all sectors. Protection under galactic law. And most importantly, respect. We will treat humans as equals. Not threats. Not primitives, equals. Ambassador Hana felt emotion welling up, but she kept her composure. We accept these terms. Humanity will cooperate fully with the Galactic Defense Coalition. We will share our technology. We will help patrol dangerous sectors. We will do whatever is needed to prove we are worthy of this trust. There is one more thing, Bora said quietly. We would like to help improve your civilian vessels. Share our safety standards. Many of your ships lack basic redundancy systems. We could fix that. Save lives. This caused more discussion. Some species were proud. Others were practical. Eventually, practical won. Several council members agreed to accept human assistance in reviewing their ship designs. The vote was called. One by one, species voted. Some voted yes immediately. Others hesitated but eventually agreed. When the count was finished, the result was clear. Humanity would be fully integrated into galactic society. Thal made it official. Let the record show that on this day, humanity has been granted full council membership and included in the Galactic Defense Coalition. Welcome, humans. Welcome to the galaxy. The chamber erupted in applause. Not all of it was enthusiastic. Some species still had doubts. But the decision was made. Humanity was no longer outsiders. They were part of something larger now. 6 months later, the changes were already visible. Human engineers worked at shipyards across the galaxy. Alien vessels were being upgraded with redundant systems, better shielding, and stronger hulls. Accident rates dropped. Survival rates in emergencies climbed. Captain Dewan continued his cargo runs, but now he often had escorts. Not because the council did not trust him, but because younger captains wanted to learn from him, wanted to understand how human ships operated. The Margath raiders had moved to a different sector entirely. Word had spread quickly. Do not mess with human ships. They are indestructible and their captains are crazy enough to ram you. Ambassador Hana worked tirelessly to build bridges between humanity and other species. She organized exchange programs, technology sharing agreements, cultural exchanges. Slowly, fear was being replaced with understanding. In the council chambers, a new statue was erected. It showed a human cargo ship, the horizon's edge, with the inscription, "Not all weapons are built for war. Some are built for survival." Director Thal stood before the statue one day. Velthar joined him. "Do you think we made the right choice?" Velthar asked. Thal considered the question. "I think we made the only choice. We could have fought them, tried to contain them, but they would have won. Not through aggression, through simple persistence. Humans do not give up. They do not quit. They survive. Better to have them with us than against us. They still frighten me," Velthar admitted. "Good," Thal said with something that might have been a smile. "They frighten everyone, even themselves, I think, but they are our allies now, and I would rather have a frightening ally than a frightening enemy." On Earth, in a small engineering firm, Jiwoo was training a group of alien students.